So we got the beast loaded up. We are heading out for the first haul with it. We got a couple of rock crusher pieces headed down to California. This right here is the jaw crusher. So this is what like the excavator loader would load like big rocks and chunks into. Go through, crush it down to whatever size. That conveyor belt would then dump into the hopper of the screen here. And this screen, if actually we could look up here. Yeah, see there's different sizes of screen in there, and as it shakes and vibrates, it's dumped in up there. The obviously stuff bigger than this comes out here onto the ground. The stuff smaller goes down into that. The stuff that doesn't fit through that then goes off out, probably looks like this conveyor, off out the side out there. And the stuff that goes through the smallest screen would go off of this here and dump out of this conveyor. So this setup right here can make just open crush rock, and then make that would be 3 different sizes out of this machine here as well. And then you just park them and line them up where that one's dumping into that one. It's like a little mini rock crushing spread here. Supposedly total weight here is like 23,000 pounds between the two of them. That one apparently, the person delivering it down to California was trying to haul it in a dump trailer, and it wasn't going well. So no big deal for the beast here, but we'll go put it on the scale at the truck stop, see what we weigh all together. This is a heavy setup, mainly due to that truck. I think that truck's 26,000 pounds on its own. But either way, we're taking these back to Northern California, actually to my hometown where I'm from, in Ukiah, California, and go get them delivered to the customer down there. So we got new tires put on the Western Star this morning up at Ben Commercial Tire, and then we ran down the road, picked up these two, came back home to pack some clothes and stuff, and now hit the road. Oh, but real quick before we do, for those who get mad at me about like hooking onto the rim of a car to pull on it when it's stuck in a recovery, I also hook onto the tracks of equipment to chain them down. Works great. Okay, we are in Sentimental, Oregon at the truck stop where we just got this thing weighed. We weigh 63,520 pounds, which is right close to exactly what they said this shipment would weigh. Not 100% sure exactly because I'm not 100% sure what my combination weighs. I did weigh that truck empty on the way home on a scale. It is just a hair shy of 26,000 pounds. The trailer should weigh 14,400 pounds, but obviously I've never weighed it on its own, only hooked to my other truck. So I'm just kind of doing some rough guesses on my full setup being a little over 40,000 pounds. They said this was going to weigh 22,500. Math and such, and we should be right in that ballpark. But checked all of our chains, all those are good. We've got nice road grime everywhere, covering everything, but all good. It's all sitting in place just like it should, so we are going to keep headed south. And if you were wondering, yes, it snowed a little bit here in Sentimental. They got the skid steers running, clearing out all these parking spots on the backside here. And for truckers out there, see this? This is how fast you need to be going through a truck stop. There's no need to be doing 20 miles an hour around a truck stop. Just chill out. Yeah. Just a little bit of snow out here. And for those that remember, this here is the building that me and John took the big sign off the front of when we did that little project. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. Oh no! The Jeep split in half. Oh, the whole front axle housing is split right down the middle. That sucks. Hello, California. This is Doris, California. We just crossed over the border. We got to make our way through a little town here, and then we go through the ag checkpoint. Okay, this is the agriculture inspection point. You can't have any outside agriculture going into California. So if you've got like a banana or an apple in your cup holder or lunchbox, straight to jail. Maybe not like that extreme, but they do take it from you and then put it in that incinerator over there and destroy it. So, or you just tell them you don't have any and then you go and buy. Not that I've ever done that. You too, thank you. Well, that was easy. So, that truck ahead of me saw they had to see their BOL, the bill of lading, to see what's in that trailer. And if it's agricultural, anything like that, then they gotta make sure it's all approved to go into California, has the proper permits and all the crap that certified, no weird bugs and such and whatever. But my load, you can obviously see what's on the trailer and you can see that it's not a banana. So he looked, saw that, gave me a thumbs up, told me to go on through, no need to stop and check. But that's pretty cool because I have had them a piece of equipment on a trailer like that and they want to stop and see your bill of lading to make sure that you know you're not hauling anything weird into the state. So okay, we got a nice turnout here, so stop, check the chains, check the load one more time, because after this it's gonna get dark really soon. So we're gonna go through the whole like Shasta, like prettiest part of the drive in the dark, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. One thing we are gonna do is I'm gonna stop in Corning at the truck wash and get this mess all washed and shined up, because we're going back to my hometown. We're going to see some of the homies and we definitely need to be flexing on them fools. So that is the next stop. Off we go. Okay, I got the truck washed here in Corning, California, and I figured since there's a Petro right here, just stay the night here. I had enough hours to get to Williams, but not enough to get all the way over to Ukiah, because I did a whole bunch of driving around and doing stuff this morning before I even went and loaded this up. So I ran out a bunch of my hours there. Normally this trip is a no problem one-day trip easily, but since I did other stuff before, I didn't have enough hours today. Either way, had enough hours to get to Williams, but then I thought, there's just a Love's there. Petro has, it's like one of the only, if not the only, chain truck stop that still has a real restaurant inside where you can get a real meal instead of stupid fast food. So plenty of room. Figure stay here, get an actual meal for the night, and get all parked and all done and go inside, and the restaurant's closed. So I ended up walking all the way down there across the street to McDonald's, and at 8:30 at night McDonald's is drive-through only, so that didn't work. So then I had to walk all the way down there across a couple streets to get over to a Jack in the Box. So finally got Jack in the Box, got back here. So what was planned to be stop somewhere so I get a real meal so I have to eat fast food is now a eating Jack in the Box in the seat of my truck. So that's cool, but either way, everything's good on the load, truck and trailer. Truck did just fine today, so all good there. In the morning, we're gonna get fired up fairly early and head over the mountain into Ukiah. So this right here, right where that truck's sitting right now ahead of me, is the spot where I lost my entire business. Coming right up on 5 years ago. Right here. Everything literally went up in flames. So I've told this story before on this channel, but it was way back at the very beginning when nobody watched this channel. But I never wanted anything to do with light duty towing. Still don't to this day. What I had always done before, and what I wanted to stay doing, was heavy haul, like low bed stuff like this was the absolute bulk of it, and then heavy tow as well. And yeah, almost 5 years ago, it was in February of 2020, we were moving to Oregon. I got the bright idea to buy a moving van trailer, because I was able to buy a moving van trailer on Facebook Marketplace, doing my buying and selling deal like I still do to this day, for dirt cheap. way cheaper than you could ever pay movers or even rent a U-Haul. It's like, if I buy a moving trailer, I have the trucks, we could load everything we own into one trailer and make one trip up north to Oregon. That'd be great. It wasn't great at all, because we put everything we owned into one trailer, and then the truck pulling it caught on fire right there at the top of that hill. I think pulling this grade is what did it in. Luckily, I was able to get the pin released and get back in the truck that was on fire. Inside the cabin, everything was on fire. Like, the passenger seat was in flames, and I was able to get back in it and pull it away from that trailer and drop the trailer on the ground and save all of our stuff. But the truck was a complete and total loss. It burned to the ground, like literally. Lost the whole thing. And to make it worse than that, 2 months prior, when we were in California, I had 2 trucks before we moved up to Oregon. I had others in between, different before that, but as we were moving up, we decided we'd move up to Oregon. I had 2 trucks. And heavy haul, low bed work, and then heavy tow was the plan in Oregon, because that's what I was doing down here. 2 months prior to us moving and that truck catching on fire, there goes one of Reeves' trucks, literally while we were moving, I got in a bad wreck with my other truck, which was my favorite one, and I rolled it into a canyon, totaled that truck. It was a very not fun deal. So the main truck I had planned on using in Oregon, I rolled and totaled in a wreck. And then 2 months later, as we were moving to Oregon, my other truck caught on fire going down the road and lost everything. So 2 trucks totaled within 2 months made me basically uninsurable. And also, I couldn't even get a loan to buy another truck at the time, because I had, at that point, dissolved my California LLC and started the Oregon LLC. So every finance company saw me as a new business. Oh, I screwed that one up. And therefore, they're not going to finance a brand new business on a $100,000, $200,000 truck. So that is why I just did light duty towing in Oregon to start out. It wasn't what I wanted to do at all, still is not, but it was what I could afford to do at the time, and then work my way back towards big trucks, low bed work with heavy towing mixed in as well. That was always the plan to do in Oregon, and now here, 5 years later, after having to completely start over, we're finally, it is kind of, I guess, fitting that I'm passing that spot in my new low bed truck 5 years later after I lost my last low bed truck. It's been a long 5 years and a lot of work. But finally back to what the plan was 5 years ago when I passed that exact spot going the other direction. This is a really fitting first load for this truck. I didn't realize that when I planned this to come down here until passing that spot. That's pretty wild. But we're back now. 5 years it took to get back, but back in a low bed truck. So okay, well, enough sentimental crap. Let's go. Okay, Future Casey here to way better explain how this whole Cascade Heavy Rescue thing started. So, while literally in the process of moving to Oregon, lost the only truck I had left in a fire. Finance companies wouldn't touch me because I already dissolved my California LLC that had long-standing history and started the new Oregon LLC that had no history, and I basically had no money, making me pretty much unfinanceable. Is that a word? I don't think so, but it is now. And that didn't matter anyway, because even if I could get the financing, I wouldn't be able to get the insurance that I need for the financing, because after those 2 bad accidents in a row, I was uninsurable, and that is a word. So I did what I always do, and I went to an equipment auction and I bought this tow truck for $5,000, which was pretty much everything I had left. So I towed about a dozen cars with it, and then I sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $15,000, and the very next day turned right around and bought this tow truck off Facebook Marketplace for $10,000. So this is the part where a lot of people don't understand the whole buying and selling thing, but let's go right here. So each one of these fingers is $5,000, because in the end here we had a $15,000 deal. So I had very little more in my bank account than $5,000, and I spent that $5,000 on that first tow truck. That left me with basically nothing, and I was scraping by every penny I had to be able to even put fuel in the truck to run it while I towed about a dozen cars with it before selling it on Facebook Marketplace for $15,000. Then the very next day I went and bought the red Ford tow truck, which was far nicer, for $10,000. And after all that was said and done, I now had a much nicer tow truck, and I still had my original $5,000 back in the bank. That is what I mean when I say things like this basically cost me no money, because even though money changed hands back and forth and I was out money, back down money, in the end, I still had the original amount of money that I started with, plus I had this asset. Now, what makes it even better is that I then used that asset, which I have net zero in cost into, for 2 years to earn an income and make a living off of, and that's what paid my bills and got this whole business off the ground for those 2 years. And I think this YouTube channel started towards the end of me having, it did actually, towards the very end of me having that truck. And then after 2 years of running that truck that I am net zero cost into, I sold it for $20,000, which would be 5, 10, 15, 20. So that is why I am always buying and selling things in equipment auctions, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, stuff like that. That sort of wheeling and dealing is what I've been doing since I started this business 14 years ago. And doing stuff like that deal back when we first moved here to Oregon is the only reason Cascade Heavy Rescue exists today. Never mind, not done with that. One more thing. Huge thank you to my buddy Anthony Epinendio for bringing his truck out in the middle of the night and getting my trailer and towing it back to his yard so that it didn't go to the tow company's yard where it would have been impounded until the bill was paid, because the insurance company drug that one out and ended up taking 3 months to pay out the tow bill on that, meaning that trailer with literally everything we owned in it would have been impounded there for 3 months unless I paid the tow bill myself, which I didn't have the money to do at the time. So Anthony definitely saved my ass on that one. And then a couple days later, my grandparents took one of their trucks over his yard, picked up the trailer, and hauled it up to Oregon for us so that we could finally have all of our stuff. So the first couple days in our rental house in Oregon, we were sitting there with literally nothing except for, I think, the one duffel bag my wife packed in her Jeep was all we had until the trailer finally showed up. So it was a rough start getting to Oregon and moving to Oregon, and now literally 5 years later we're back finally kind of in the same spot. So, yeah, all that. So we have made it to Ukiah, where I have only made this turn about 4 billion times in a little bit. And then just right down the street here is Peterson Cat, where we're going to drop this stuff off. We are here. So I think we'll go ahead and get everything unchained, and then hey, you're supposed to stay up here. When you pick the neck up, it pinches it in that seam there and it can't go anywhere. But I think I'm going to get all this stuff unchained and then get the truck split apart so when the customer shows up we can just walk it off of this trailer and onto theirs. But everything stayed in place just fine, not a chain moved, and the truck did not have one single, even the slightest bit of a hiccup the whole way. It was exactly smooth trip, exactly what you hope for. So very happy with this thing. Okay, that one's off. They're taking it over to the loading ramp to put it on another truck. This one's coming off. I kind of dropped the trailer in a little bit of a dip there, so it makes a steeper breakover angle than normal, but it's fine. Pretty neat little machines. Be interesting to see how good they work. So I decided to run down and visit my grandparents. Decided after, what, 60 years as an owner-operator? 60 plus years? 65 years as an owner-operator, I figured it was time to let you ride in the real truck. But what do you think, checking it out?
I think it's great. I like it.
Yeah?
I think it's definitely when it's time to buy another truck, if I do, I'll be looking at Western Star.
Yeah, I've become a big fan of them. Now we actually just given a ride up here to the shop to pick up his truck, had some service done. Can you even call this one yours yet, or is it still Grandma's truck?
I call it mine, she calls it hers.
Okay.
It's our truck.
It's your truck, but not at the same time. He keeps his trucks a little cleaner than I do. And you see, this is why it's my grandma's truck. For my sake, I'm gonna call it Grandma's truck. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, right here is the state line. We're back into Oregon, and there's a ransacked, abandoned RV. I could not think of a better or more accurate welcome to Oregon than an abandoned, ransacked, tweaked out RV. That is incredibly fitting for Oregon. Well, we are home, and I am very happy to report that not one single issue on the whole trip. It went great. Truck, not even the slightest hiccup, not even one little weird noise. It's like, huh, what was that? Nothing. Truck did great. Trailer did fine like normal. Every single scale, both down and up, was open. Had to go through all of them, and green lights all the way through, which means I did everything right when I registered the thing, I guess. But all good down and back. No issues with the load, no issues with truck trailer. Got to see some old friends while I was down there, got to see my grandparents. The one kind of thing that didn't go quite to plan on this trip is I was supposed to have a dump truck to haul back up here to Central Oregon with me, but that fell through at the last minute, so I just had to come home empty. But that was fine because I kind of charged enough going down there that didn't really make that big of a deal. So all good on that. I do definitely need to get a bigger trailer now, because this trailer is by far the limitation of what I can do with this truck. Like I said, that trailer was a great match for my other truck, but this truck is capable of doing so much more, so much bigger, that this is now what's holding me back. So this trailer will probably be for sale here real soon. I need to get a triaxle, like California style, you know, ramps, mechanical detached neck trailer. To replace this one, but triaxle, so I can actually put some weight on it. I think that's going to be the goal there, is sell this one, get a 3-axle for it, or keep this one for little stuff and just get a big trailer for big stuff, like a 9-axle. I guess if I was just gonna have this trailer for little stuff, I'd rather have a sliding axle. So I need so much stuff. I need a sliding axle trailer, I need a 3-axle low bed, I need a 9-axle low bed. I just need all the things, so that's probably going to be for sale. That is done with everything I had planned for it and wanted to do with it, so it is for sale. It might have a buyer. That's for sale as soon as the title for it shows up, because I really don't have the use for it that I thought I did. This is currently for sale. It's got a couple potential buyers. We'll see if any of them finally pull the trigger on it. I did my IFTA reporting for the 4th quarter of the year, and where you do all your mileages and tax and crap like that, and I found out that this truck in the 4th quarter of 2024 ran a grand total of 138 miles. So it makes no sense. This truck is financed, so that's a huge payment and also a huge insurance thing. To use it less than 200 miles in 3 months, it makes no sense. So that is for sale, especially since that is going to be specifically for hauling equipment. At that low of miles and as expensive as it is to make the payment insurance on this, it doesn't make any sense to keep it. Yeah, I know you like watching the videos. So do I. It's a really cool truck that can do a whole lot of different and unique things. It's very, very capable, but it's just not getting used enough to like make it make sense. So, bye. This is for sale because it's a 35-foot trailer, and I did all my measuring out with that truck over there, that one, and I'm fairly certain I can pull a 45-foot flatbed behind that truck and be under 65-foot overall, which means I can go pretty much anywhere with it without length restrictions. And this one, it's good for, there's a lot of stuff this trailer is really good for, but I'm only gonna have one flatbed. It should probably be a 45, so I can maximize my deck space and still be under the 65 foot. So that's gonna be for sale unless I find a cheap enough 45-foot flatbed. Then I'll just keep both and have a short one for doing goofy stuff. And the mat tracks are coming off the Blazer, as you can see. There's one of them off up there because those are already sold, paid for, and they are headed out of here. I gotta put them on a pallet so they can get shipped off. So no mat tracks on the Blazer. But we do still have the tracks on the Cherokee here. We've got the polar tracks on it. Yes, they don't look as cool as the matte tracks over there on the Blazer, but they'll do everything that I actually need to do. So those will stay on that for now to be like the tracked vehicle thing. The matte tracks are heading out of here. And this truck is most likely going to Texas. Also, this one's not like listed for sale or anything, but I do kind of want to sell it and replace it with just a normal pickup because I have absolutely no use for the wheel lift on the back, and that makes it a very useful truck for someone else, but just not me. So I would rather have a normal pickup without that, not be a tow truck with tow registration and super expensive tow insurance and all that stuff, and just replace it with a normal pickup because that's all I actually need. And then this trailer and a normal pickup would basically be my replacement to that rollback. Yes, I know that's nowhere near as capable as what that thing is and can't do all the like under reach towing stuff, but I don't do that with that truck anyway. I use the Zacklift for that because it's way better at it. And all that I actually have been moving on that thing for months and months now, it's just I need to move some of my own vehicles around, and that is more than capable of doing it at a much lower cost than that. You might be kind of starting to notice that all the little stuff is getting sold off, and it's because, as I said earlier in this video, none of that smaller towing stuff was ever the goal or anything I really wanted to get into. The goal was always heavy haul, low bed work being the main part of the business, with heavy towing being the in-between part. And 5 years later, that is finally what we're getting back to where I wanted to be from the beginning and where I was for years before that, before those two big accidents. And I say the heavy towing part being the in-between part because in this area that's all it can kind of really be. I could explain that a lot more, but that's probably too much explaining for this video. That's kind of its own thing for its own video. If you want to like hear that full explanation, let me know down below and we'll kind of go into like the business side of that. Oh, and that would also explain why I don't just do like a bunch of people suggest and hire a driver for this and that and just send them all to work every day and make a whole bunch of money, because that is not at all how it works. But either way, the business was named Cascade Heavy Rescue for a reason, and that's where all this started. That's where I've been trying this whole time to get all this back to, and that's finally where we are. So that's what we need to focus on. So all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the first of what is, again, hopefully many jobs with the beast here, and we'll see you next time.